Hi all, Michelle Visser, author and podcast host, and I'm really glad that you are here because I'm sharing one of my favorite things to talk about today. We're talking about the perfect cup of black tea. Come join me in my kitchen. Let's talk about this, but take a really quick second and hit that subscribe button. Whether you're looking for the perfect cup of black tea as iced tea, or if you want the perfect cup of hot tea that's black tea. Either way, this video is 100% for you. Let's start off with talking about iced tea. Bill, my husband, was always a huge fanatic about Lipton tea. Couldn't buy any other kind, it had to be Lipton. And there was a certain number of tea bags for this certain size pitcher and a certain amount of sugar, and he had it down to a science, and this is the way he always wanted his sweet iced tea. And he probably drank it that way for decades, honestly. But the more that I started learning about why tea bags are not the best option, and the more I started personally using loose leaf teas, the more I really had a desire to figure out a way to replace his Lipton tea bags. So I talked to some tea experts, did some research, did a lot of reading, and then I did a whole lot of trying of different things. And I came up with something I was ready to offer him. I didn't tell him I had switched it because I knew if he knew, he would be like, nah, don't even want to try it. Never mind. I know, what I like. I wanted to stay that way. So I didn't even tell him. I just gave him a cup of tea made with this instead of his usual, and he didn't notice it. When I told him, he actually couldn't believe it. This was years ago. We have never looked back. I never purchased Lipton again after that. I drink a whole lot of a whole lot of hot teas, and I have a lot of favorites. In fact, I'll leave a link in the description to all of my favorites. Most of them are black tea because I do usually prefer black tea. But this is the perfect cup if you just want plain old, simple, but delicious black tea. This is for you. So, what is in this recipe? It's really simple. In fact, I got a box delivered today that made me realize I wanted to make this video because I have 4 pounds of tea in here. And this is what I need to make what we drink in bulk. You of course don't have to buy these many bags and this big of sizes of bags, but we drink it in bulk. So I buy this to save a whole lot of money on the best organic, amazing flavored teas. So to make this recipe, you need 3 parts of one certain kind of black tea and 1 part of another. Winter storm is coming through and it got really dark very quickly. So I turned the light on. Okay. So these are 2 different teas, both grown in India. First is Nilgiri, and it is they're both bold black teas. But this one is also very delicate and it's a very smooth tasting tea. You need 1 part Nilgiri and 3 parts Assam. So when I order it, I always order 1 pound of Nilgiri and 3 pounds of Assam. Now Assam, like I said, is also a bold tea, but it is more sweet and it's a little more robust. This is actually considered to be a breakfast tea by many. So when you put these 2 together, you get a really bold yet sweet flavor that is so good. Okay, so I only need 1 of each of them for now. We keep ours in a canister so that we can easily access it and dish it out throughout the day for making a pitcher or just a cup. But you don't have to have a canister for this. You can use a glass jar. Any kind of container will work as long as it is well sealed. You do want your teas to stay fresh. So our canister does have a seal on the lid. But it is down to the end, so it's time to refill. Okay, so again, 1 part Nilgiri, to 3 parts Assam. It will smell so good, but yet different. It's amazing how, when you're getting a really good tea, how unique the different teas are. And so gorgeous. And look at that big, open, nice leaf. Okay, so you're gonna mix it. I do this in layers and mix it up just to make sure it's getting well mixed. If you're putting this in a jar, you can just shake the jar, obviously, to get them all mixed up. Okay, back to 1 Nilgiri and 3 Assam. I could also, sometimes I'll do this in a big bowl and then pour it in. Doesn't matter how you mix them up as long as you get your ratio right. One time I did mess up and I only put 2 parts Assam for every 1 part Nilgiri. And Bill noticed it right away. He said, there is something not right with this tea. So the ratio is important. Okay, when you get it all mixed up, add a scoop or a measuring spoon, and you're ready for your next cup of delicious tea. To make a great cup of black hot tea, all that you need is to steep anywhere from 1 to 3 teaspoons of this mix in 16 ounces of hot water. 16 ounces is a big cup. I like a lot of tea. And honestly, I usually go on the larger side of that. So I'll usually steep up to a tablespoon of this mix in my 16-ounce mug of hot water. And then almost daily, I am making a pitcher of iced tea for Bill. We have a 3-quart pitcher, and I will use 1.5 tablespoons full of this tea blend. I will, first of all, steep it in, I don't know, 3 or 4 cups of hot water for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes and remove the tea. Then I will add my sugar. I use 3/4 cup to a cup of organic cane sugar is what Bill prefers, but you really can use whatever sweetener you would like. And then I fill the pitcher the rest of the way at the top with ice cold water, and you have a wonderful pitcher full of sweet iced tea. Sometimes I will let it brew in a mason jar. It's just kind of easier sometimes that way. I love this filter. I'll fill this up with the amount of tea that I need, and then it can either do a hot brew or a cold brew in a mason jar with this filter. So I hope that you love this tea blend. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think when you give it a try. And if you found this video useful, it would mean a whole lot to me if you simply give it a like, and please subscribe. It means a lot. Thanks, guys.